Are you having mixed feelings about the computer based IELTS test? You're not alone. I recently took the computer based IELTS test and I want to share with you a few things I did to get band score 8.5 overall in my test. My name is B Souls and I am a self trained IELTS tutor from Nigeria. So, the paper based IELTS tests, like we all know, is gradually being phased off, and definitely everyone has to try to get used to the computer based test. Of course, you know that your test result lasts for only 2 years, and if you still need the test after 2 years, you have to take another one. So, the earlier you start to get used to the computer based test, the better for you. So, I decided to take the computer based test, and just like you, maybe I was actually scared or I was nervous a little bit. I wasn't sure if I could type fast enough. I wasn't sure if I could manage the screen and be able to put my thoughts together. I just had many things running through my mind that could discourage me from taking the test. But I just told myself that the best way to tell anyone about anything is to tell them what you have experienced. So I decided to experience it firsthand and, just go for it. Yeah, so just like the paper based IELTS test, first thing I would like you to know is that there is really no significant difference in the text content. What I'm trying to say is that the question types, whatever preparation you have been doing in the past for IELTS paper based test will still work perfectly well for your computer based test. However, this time you have to now prepare to use the computer to, answer your questions as opposed to writing down with your hands. I know that some of us prefer to actually put down our thoughts, you know, with pen and paper. You process better, you're able to organize it better and all of that. And then one of the fears that test takers might also have is that would it be easy for them to cross out mistakes and all of those things. These are some of the things I want to inform you about. So computer based test is something that you can definitely do and you can still get your good and target band score stuff. If you want to do the computer based IELTS test, you definitely have to get comfortable with using the computer. So my first counsel to you will be that you should start practicing with your computer. So as opposed to writing your practice essays in a paper, this is the time to start typing your practice essays. Okay, and start practicing more on a computer. Get used to it. You train yourself also on your typing speed, because this is one thing that might be an issue with the computer based IELTS test. If you have all your ideas but you're not able to type them in really quickly, then that may be that may hinder you from getting the band score that you desire. But trust me, just like with every other just like with the paper based test that everyone is used to, with practice you can get better. And then if you feel that you're not very comfortable with the use of computer for the test, I would advise that you should practice first before you pick your test date. Get used to using the computer to type. Get on your Microsoft Word, think of a random subject and just write about it, or get a practice IELTS question and start to type. Started off with the listening test. Your headphone is connected to your computer system, so you're seated in front of a complete computer system. There's the monitor and all of that, and then your headphone is connected, and then it is quite easy to go through because there are instructions already given every step of the way. There's you're guided through every step of the way. And of course, the examiners are there should you have any other extra concerns or questions. Generally, what the test looks like, your day-to-day computer room, depending on your location, and you're in front of your own computer system. If you have an adjustable chair, try to adjust your chair such that you have an ergonomically comfortable seat, so that when you're typing, you're not having to pause in between because of aches on your shoulders, or particularly for those who are not used to typing often, right? So adjust your system, adjust everything, ensure that your system is on and then it's switched on. They're going to give you your passwords, your login pass key. Make sure that you type it in correctly. If it is case sensitive, make sure that you do that. And once all of those preliminary stages done, there's going to be an instruction page where you will listen to certain instructions about the test. Click on it. It won't even allow you to proceed to the next stage except you have listened to those instructions. So listen to the instructions, click on those instructions, listen to them. Your examiners would also guide you to do that. Once that is done, you would see the prompt that your test is about to start. So one of the beautiful things about the computer-based test is that this time around, your timer is right in front of you at maybe the top corner, maybe right or left corner of your screen, so you can actually manage your time better. That's mostly for the writing test, but for the listening, of course, the recording is just going to play once, just like we're used to. And this time around for your listening, so let me take it one at a time. For your listening, you would of course answer your questions as you go along. You answer your questions as you go along. So it's not like the paper-based test where you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers. You have only 2 minutes to look through your answers this time. So as you're listening, you're typing your answers into the box. It can save you some time. Sometimes your answers just require that you click. It's sort of like a tabular form. It depends on the kind of questions that they bring, but it can be like your summary completion this time can be just clicking the correct answer rather than typing all the way. Those are part of the modifications that I noticed compared to the paper-based test. Okay, so what else? So the test goes on, and then at the end of your listening, of course, it's played just once and all of that. You followed all your instructions. You have 2 minutes to look at your answers. Okay, so if there's anything you want to adjust, if there's anything you want to do in that 2 minutes, then you can quickly do that. You can quickly cross-check your spellings to be sure that you didn't make mistake. And once the time is done, the test will automatically stop. And once that is done, you get another instruction page flashing in front of you. You listen to certain instructions. Then once that is done, you move on to the next part of the test. So the next part of the test would usually now be your reading. So you move on to your reading test. It's still 1 hour, just like the paper-based test. And in my opinion, really, the computer-based reading test turned out to be better. And now when I say better, I mean in terms of time management. I was able to manage my time better, or I was just able to do it faster. The major differences that I noticed, you're scrolling through your long essays just using your cursor as opposed to flipping pages of a book. So even if even if your answer is not on that page, all you need to do is just to scroll, and it's kind of faster than flipping the pages of a book, in my opinion, right? Your question paper and your reading text are side by side. So question is on the left side of your screen. That's the essay is on the left side of your screen, your questions are on the right side of your screen, and you can just read on this side, answer on this other side, read on this side, answer on this other side. It kind of has more synergy than when you have to flip 3 pages back to check, come back again, flip again, flip again. And I think overall it saved time, right? Yes. So your question and your essay are side by side, and then once you click on the other side, you can scroll the questions on that side. Once you go back to this side, you can scroll the question on that side. So another thing that I noticed that was actually a good addition is that in recent times, the question types, and I've had this feedback from some of my students as well, the question types are such that they guide you to the paragraph that you need to select your answer from. So as opposed to previously, when they'll ask a question and then you're looking through, say, 10 paragraphs to locate just one answer, while of course there are different tips that we give test takers to just help locate answers quickly. But one thing I noticed this time is that they can tell you, at least there were like 2 questions where they would say in paragraph 10 or in paragraph 7. So all that you need to do is to do a proper counting of your paragraphs, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, look into paragraph 7, check the question, and you will locate your answer faster. If you were writing, you would have had to write those words, but this time around you just click and move it to the appropriate box, click and move it to the appropriate box. And then for your matching headings, matching headings to paragraphs, once you locate it, you just move it, and then that's it. So I think that kind of saved time, because sincerely, for the first time, I finished my reading test really early. For me, reading has always been a bit challenging because of time management, and I'm always, I use my time completely. But this time around, I had like extra 10 minutes. By the time I finished my test, I was already sure of my answers, I think, except one. And then I even took a bathroom break, came back, and still looked at it again, and I'm like, wow, this seems to be easier than I thought. So I think you should not be afraid. Don't be afraid of taking the IELTS test on computer. It might actually be easier than you think. So once your reading test is done and your 1 hour is over, the system would automatically close that test, and of course it will automatically submit it, and then you will start the next one. So the next one is your writing test. And just like in the paper-based test, where you can you're giving your 2 answer sheets at the same time, you can decide to write task 1 first or task 2 first, depending on how you want it and all that. It's the same thing. You can just scroll to the next question, so you can see both questions. You can decide to start task 1 first, you can start task 2 first. You can even shuffle in between both tasks, which is not something I advise if you're not sure of your time management. You can shuffle in between both tasks, write a bit of this, come back, finish up this and all that. But it's not a good way to approach the test, because your thoughts can actually get disorganized and all that. So that's just about it. So you just type. Okay, and the last thing I need to tell you about the writing test is that when you are practicing, please get used to using your caps lock or your shift button whenever you want to use uppercase. And this is because the computer-based IELTS test is programmed in such a way that there is no autocorrect, there is no auto capitalization. That's not going to happen. So if you keep typing without putting on your caps lock when you need to type a capital letter, or at least pressing the shift button, and of course which is faster, you just realize that you did all your typing either in capital letter or in small letter. So learn to type in such a way that you'd put capital letter where you want it to be by yourself, because the system would not do that for you. and that also applies to your punctuation marks. The system is not going to do that for you. You need to check your spellings because the system is not going to autocorrect your spellings for you. So I hope this helps you, and I hope this encourages you to approach your IELTS computer-based test with a little bit more confidence, some more guidance on how to get your desired band score. Please reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you. Bye.